Merci, Monsieur le Président Vauzer. Deuxième personnalité cet après-midi pour cette session. J'appelle Son Altesse Royale le Prince d'Orange, président du Conseil consultatif pour l'eau et l'assainissement auprès du secrétaire général des Nations Unies.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, if you could have seen the front row just now, you should have seen a lot of crossing out because we're trying to help the organizers of the 6th World Water Forum to shorten our speeches dramatically. So if you're interested in the whole story, I invite you to go to www.unscep.org to read the speech. But the most important points I would like to present here today. So when our advisory board on water and sanitation first met in 2004, the members made a tactical decision to focus on how to meet existing water and sanitation targets rather than coming up with new objectives and goals. And they wanted to place emphasis on the Millennium Development Goal target of halving the number of people with no access to safe drinking water and basic sanitation. Clearly this target and the MDGs as a whole are a potent combination for development. They identify common objectives, harness global enthusiasm, and ultimately galvanize action. The MDGs represent history in the making, and just a few days ago, the Secretary General made a momentous announcement. The MDG drinking water target has been met. Officially, this is the first MDG target to be achieved by the international community, and we should be extremely encouraged by this news. Since 1990, 2 billion people have gained access to drinking water, and worldwide drinking water coverage has increased from 76% in 1990 to 89% in 2010. So let's step back and consider these numbers. In the last 20 years, the global population has grown by 1.6 billion. Virtually all of this growth has taken place in developing countries. That means drinking water coverage has not only kept pace with the population explosion, but has exceeded it by 25%. And this is a testament to the dedication, perseverance, and sheer will of countries and their leaders working with individuals, utilities, and communities. The biggest shift in the use of drinking water sources in the developing world has been the number of people using piped water connections. From 32% in 1990 to 46% in 2010. As this is the time for solutions, and it is clear that utilities delivering piped supplies probably play the biggest role in solving our drinking water challenge. A good investment for the future is increasing both the human capacity and financial solvency of utilities. It could yield huge gains, especially for children, who are still dying at a rate of almost 4,000 a day from waterborne diseases such as diarrhea. So can we declare victory? There are many reasons why we can't. For example, it is abundantly clear that any global target will mask certain regional disparities and social inequities. We know that half of the people gaining access to drinking water live in either China or India. And we also know that only 11 of the 50 countries of sub-Saharan Africa have met the MDG drinking water target. Should we be pessimistic? I don't think so. The MDG targets are particularly challenging to countries starting from a low 1990 baseline, especially if this is coupled with high population growth, and both apply in sub-Saharan Africa. We did the maths and found that an astonishing 275 million people there had gained access to drinking water. That means that in sub-Saharan Africa, an average of 37,000 people a day have gained access in the past 20 years. And we have good reason to congratulate African leaders for their enormous efforts in bringing this essential service to their people. I know many of our African colleagues are with us today, and on Wednesday, they will focus on the solutions for their continent and renewed efforts to achieve them. Let's also congratulate the governments of China and India for prioritizing drinking water. It takes both political will and a lot of hard work. Another reason we we have to be cautious. It hasn't been possible to measure water quality all over the world. So the indicator, use of improved sources, is now being used instead of access to safe sources. And so, while we basically know how many people have access to drinking water, we do not know if that water is actually safe to drink. In fact, studies have shown that water from a significant number of improved sources is not safe for human consumption due to poor maintenance or construction. Like water from unimproved sources, it carries unsafe levels of microbes or chemicals. And rather than sustaining life, this water is making people sick. Drinking contaminated water triggers a downward spiral of ill health and further impoverishment at serious personal and financial costs, threatening health and development. Ladies and gentlemen, we must now take a hard look at sanitation, for it's truly ironic that the first NDG target to be met is combined with the sanitation target, which is arguably most off track. We continue to live in a world where 2.6 billion people do not have a proper toilet. It is wrong, it is inexcusable, it is immoral. At current rates of progress, the MDG sanitation target won't be met until 2026. So why aren't we seeing better progress? Different experts will offer different explanations, but this much is clear. Politicians, leaders, and people in general simply don't like to be associated with toilets. This stigma influences international and national development agendas. We have to fight continually to keep sanitation at the center of development discussions. Though often coupled with water issues, sanitation receives significantly less attention and fewer resources. UN member states recently adopted a solution calling for an end to open defecation, along with a commitment to supporting the sanitation drive to 2015. The sanitation drive was launched last year by the Secretary General, demonstrating his willingness to act as a champion for toilets. The sanitation drive to 2015 is also a solution. By keeping sanitation at the center of the development dialogue, it will encourage political commitment and financial investment and boost education. Ladies and gentlemen, I've talked about drinking water and sanitation. These two issues converge in wastewater. And this is a challenge for which we need multiple solutions from all sectors and at all levels. Right now, more than 90% of the world's wastewater is discharged untreated into oceans, rivers, or wherever else it can go. Given demographic trends, coupled with climate change impacts, this is a disaster in slow motion that will grow in proportion and impact. We need solutions for wastewater management, not only of human sewage, but also of industrial, agricultural, and urban wastewater. Wastewater management can help meet multiple objectives and offers huge potential for a green economy. After treatment, urban wastewater can be reused for peri-urban agriculture. And we know that in many parts of the world, wastewater is already used for agriculture. This practice should be encouraged, but must be done safely, with the use of the guidelines such as the globally accepted World Health Organization guidelines for wastewater reuse. Safe water reuse is a solution, since it promotes food security in the future. This should be a key issue addressed in this year's World Water Day theme, water and food security. Our board is not suggesting massive trunk and branch wastewater systems that are prohibitively expensive and prone to failure. Instead, we need a wastewater revolution, which promotes innovation and smaller modular systems that capture energy and clean water for the next appropriate use. We believe a collective vision of wastewater management is needed and should be agreed in Rio. Such a vision will help point countries in the right direction, just as the MDGs have done for poverty reduction, maternal health, and universal education. We are encouraged to see that wastewater is playing a prominent role in this forum, which will hopefully pave the way for an intergovernmental decision in Rio. Ladies and gentlemen, The World Water Forum represents a huge investment of time, energy, and money. Over 20,000 people have traveled to Marseille to focus on water. Let us commit to formulating an outcome that will have a real impact on Rio+20. I think we can all agree that it is time for solutions. The real challenge is to muster the political will, financial resources, and policy frameworks needed to make the solutions work. Often this means challenging the status quo, which is both difficult and, at times, risky. But we all need to take the risk because the future we want demands it. Thank you very much.